So we've got Steve and Sam Garton in from Quickwire with a new and exciting product to add to their product lists. And they've had a go on the Electricians wall as well, so we'll see how quick their wiring is. We've got a really good innovation corner from Joe and a really funny Rick's tool time as well. And we're opening up the debate, ring or radial circuits. What do you think? It might surprise a few of you that I'm on the camp of radial, but please make sure you get your comments in. So let's start the show.
That's possibly one of the most interesting starts ever to a live stream, and thank you ever so much for everyone who joined us live, whether it be on Facebook or whether it be on YouTube, or maybe you are catching it up and you've had to take a moment's breath there to realise that it's going to be about ring versus radial, and what a spicy topic that is in the electrical industry. And you will have also noticed that I've not been joined by old Stoneface this evening. Hopefully he's listening to us on the train. I've got Joe Hammond with me. Hello, Joe.
Hello. Yes, I can't believe I'm here today. This is a big seat to fill. You know, I'm pretty nervous.
Okay, you're a big unit and you got in the seat, so that seems a fair deal to me. Thank you ever so much for those people who are joining us live on the stream. So your comments are super important to us. It's an easy one to start off with, isn't it? Are you a ring person or are you a radial person? That can get you off and running. And remember, at the end of the show, we will be using all of those people that have commented throughout the show as part of our register. If you sound to the very end, you might find yourself actually in the end credits if you're one of our loyal supporters here on Facebook and on YouTube every 2 weeks, which is a fantastic place to be. However, you might be watching this on catch up, and therefore it's your comments that can drive future live streams. So please make sure you also leave those comments. And it isn't without the great sponsors that we couldn't come live to you every 2 weeks. And this is the last one, so we're going to enjoy every moment of it. Who would we like to thank, Joe?
Well, I would like to thank the Lasico Group.
That was easy for you to say.
That was easy for me to see. Great products like Sync EV, yes, and BG products, all those wiring accessories. Luden Palazzoni as well, and Doncaster Cables, our friends down there.
Okay, yes, we'd like to thank them. So thanks for their great support. It allows us to come live on Facebook and YouTube every 2 weeks. Well, we're not going to dibble about here. We've divvied up. We've had a bit of a brassing off, haven't we, with bare knuckles in between this. And I'm going to draw a line in the sand, okay? And I'm going to put myself, controversially maybe for some people, on the side of the ring final circuit. And Joe?
Well, I'm going on the side of the radial circuit. I mean, of course, why would you want to wire anything else? It's got to be a radial.
Okay, and with that in mind, we've brought the great people from Quickwire to join us on this subject matter, and they're going to semi-launch, or at least break the news to our live stream viewers, a new product that we've actually got our hands on early, that you'll be able to see in the flesh in early January. So if we bring the camera in so we can see our guests, maybe they'll give us a little bit of wave over there.
Give us a wave, guys.
Oh, look enthusiastic. Yeah, you're on the telly. Okay, so they're there as well. So, okay, so there's a link and there's some synergy between, obviously, ring, radial and their product.
Absolutely.
I'm sure people can already work it out, and hopefully your comments are coming in. Well, I've said ring, you've said radial. Start off by just whetting the appetite of the viewers of why you've gone for radial.
Well, quite obviously, it's easier to install.
Okay, so just stop you there then. So we're always worried about dumbing down the electrical industry, maybe 6-week course in that. So you're pandering to their every need, that we don't want to put a complicated circuit in. No, God forbid that we could go round and back again and make it a complicated circuit. You'd like a nice, easy circuit. So maybe that's a reflection of yourself and maybe the abilities of yourself. Okay.
But then why overcomplicate? You know, why overcomplicate an install? I mean, you buy a loaf of bread. That's fine. You know, and your bread will come sliced.
It doesn't always come sliced.
That's fine. It doesn't always come sliced. But then why do you want to overcomplicate it by adding something like brioche or chocolate chips that you get nowadays? I mean, why? Come on. We're not, overcomplicating something here.
Okay, so why do you think it's more simple and an argument for simplicity for a radial circuit then? Because I need to hear this argument.
Just for the sake of kind of installation and putting it in, but also you've got your testing sequencing around it as well, which is also going to be a lot more straightforward.
Okay, so what we're saying again is that we want a nice easy circuit to install and one that's easy to test. Now, I don't think there's any budding electricians out there, or ones that have been practicing for some time, that are going to suggest testing a ring final circuit is really at the absolute maximum of their abilities to do things. So with that in mind, no. With that in mind, we're suggesting that we would like to have an easy circuit that's easy to test, because the type of people, these electrical engineers, that's all they're up to. And I would say that an AM2, an AM2S and a 2391 would be a far worse place without the ring final circuit test and my little R1, my little RN and my little R2 and a dividing by 4.
Maybe, but Why cut all of that out? We're moving on. We're the next generation on. I mean, this is something that was brought in round about the time, well, just after the war, when we had a shortage of materials. We don't have that anymore. We can simplify, we can make things easier for ourselves as electricians and pass that saving on to the customer, because we're going to be saving time as well without complicated testing methods and installations. Look, I'm really excited, Gary, as to what our viewership are going to be thinking about all of this, and it coming in on the comments.
Now, I'd like to go back to obviously the Second World War. Obviously, Gordon had just come out. He's a 30-year-old. He came out of the war. He was a different person when he finished that war. But you said there that it was brought in because we were trying to save Earth's precious resources. We'd use a lot of those precious resources, obviously, in the war effort. But now, all of a sudden, we're arguing in this greening climate that we're in a world of the circular economy where we would like to recycle light fittings. We'd like to have solar panels and battery storage, that you're going to be running around wasting a load of cable, the greenite that you are. Yes, that's what you're going to be doing, because you don't want to fit a ring final circuit, which has been absolutely fit for purpose for the entire time it's been installed, and we're going to leave it there. And we will come back to it. If you don't think this is going to be hot and spicy, then you haven't seen anything yet. However, you might want another reason to stay on. Okay, we've got Rick's Tool Time, it's an absolute classic. We've got Innovation Corner with another amazing product that can make electricians' life easier. And if you stay on and you're the loyal viewer right to the very end, we've got Lauren Bailey, who was here 2 weeks ago. Okay, and she's going to be carrying out the Electricians Challenge as well. But we need some people to join us on this stream. I think just maybe to separate me from you, okay? Because this could get a little bit, there's going to be no debate that I can't win on this one. We'd like to introduce our guests that are in the green room. We'd like to have Sam and Steve Garton join us. So in you come, gentlemen.
Woo! Thank you.
Make sure you choose the right one. No worries, Steve.
Cheers.
Okay, so, brilliant. Nice to have you here. Okay, so... Right, so just settle in before we absolutely get through you. You're obviously seeing it's going to be a spicy one this evening. I think you may have to adjudicate some of these things.
Got a feeling.
Right, so Steve Gunn, I'm suggesting you're the oldest statesman within the team. Yes, so your dad, yes.
Yeah,
okay, obviously I said Sam first. I was a bit out of place there. I should have used the eldest first. We're going to start off with both of you. We'd like to ask you in 60 seconds. We'll start with you, Steve.
Okay.
Give yourself a little bit of 60 seconds so the audience can get used to you, Steve.
Okay, well, I'll start off from the beginning, but it won't take too long. I've been in
£8.6.
not that far back.
Okay.
But I've been an engineer all my life virtually since I was 12, and I was dabbling in all sorts of things. When I left school, went to college, did all those extra sort of usual things, and then I got into a job where I really enjoyed it. I was actually eventually designing automation for production. I was there for many, many years, probably 27, I think. During that time and in my spare time, my little claim to fame was that I designed the pipe slice, so for all you plumbers that might be listening. From there, we were then made redundant. The whole factory was shut down. We were given a reasonably tidy sum as redundancy, and myself and 4 colleagues. I was about 45 at the time, and you think, what do you know? You're out of a job, but you have a skill set that's specific to the industry you've been in. So we thought, well, let's start a business. So we started a company called Flex Connectors, who you probably know now as Flex 7.
We do, yes.
And that's been extremely successful. And then about 5 years ago, another one of the products that I've been thinking of for a long time is the Quickwire product that we'll talk about later. We decided that it might be better if we had a sister company to do that. So we started another company called Quickwire, mainly because it doesn't fit with the products that we were selling at Flex, which is more to do with commercial rather than domestic. So that's how that was born. And in that process, we thought, well, Sam already, you'll talk to in a minute, was already working for us, plus my other 2 boys. And so we decided to start them off in the business as well, to put them through the same sort of things that I went through in the hope that they might come out bigger and better.
Yeah, just like to say, I've just sort of read between the lines there. Very intelligent gentleman, obviously, maybe somebody from the age of 12 that like to dibble and dabble and invent stuff, okay? So you've got this inventive style brain, okay? And then a couple of year-old siblings jumped on the old bandwagon, the old dad bandwagon, see if we can make something out of dad, was it? Is that the gist of it? That's how I've got it down as a gist, and I always have done.
I'll go with that.
He says harsh. So Sam, you also get 60 seconds to defend your silver spoon, your end, sorry.
Right, well, I'm operations manager at Quickwire, which is basically doing all the bits that he doesn't want to do.
Sums it up.
I've been there I've worked in Flex or Quickwire for about 20 years now, so it's basically like bringing a kid to work day, but I just never really went home. I'm still there. So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, so I'm sure, and I think you'll agree with me, it's got a whiff of maybe knowing about cables and connectors if they've spent that long, obviously, either inventing something, and we're going to come back to that, and how you've added to the Quickwire line of products, okay, and that's where we'll link to today. So when we talk about electrical and maybe Quickwire, you've got probably the right name for anyone who wants to take on the challenge one.
Sam thought up the name. I just
right.
pointed out. So he earned his crust that day.
Okay, so Quickwire. So Sam, with that in mind, just give us a little bit of a feel for the race. Also, people in a minute, I'm going to give them the 60-second countdown, but they've got to have a little bit of texture to this. We normally say dart player, non-dart player, but it looks like we've got, maybe you'd definitely be non-dart player because you'd be the clever one in the chair, but does he look like he can chuck a few arrows? Do you believe you've got a little bit of electrical background? Have you done any wiring at home, Sam?
In light of what you're about to show, I have done some successful wiring at home.
Okay.
Yep, and the home is still there.
Were they smoke detectors you were installing? Because that's what I would definitely need in my house that you'd wired.
It was hard to tell after the fire. I'm not
Right,
sure,
okay.
But, yeah, no, it's I've done some.
You dabbled. You're a
dabbled,
dabbler.
I've
Okay.
dabbled.
And if Dad says he hasn't dabbled, I won't believe he's an engineer in any way. Have you had a dabble, Dad?
I dabble in everything.
Yes.
Anything and everything.
Yeah. I gave you a little tip, don't I, on how to put the cables into the conduit.
Yeah, and I ignored it.
And you ignored it. Did that go well for you?
No.
No, okay.
But I learn from my mistakes.
Yes, yeah, rather than learning from others. I like
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
exactly.
you thought you knew better, in other words. Didn't
Exactly.
You? Yeah, I've suffered this a lot, so I sympathise with you, Sam. So I think we need to bring in what now we'd like to call the Gary time. We used to call it the Gordon time, the GT, so the Gary time. You've got 60 seconds now to work out who is going to be fast on the race. Well, this means if you are successful with this, you get the chance to use the burner phone. So you'll be able to ring Jenny so she can take your details and actually post out your winning prize. So if you think Sam's going to do it in 3 minutes and 24 seconds, you need to put Sam and 3 minutes and 24. And if you think Steve's going to win and say 3 minutes and 2 seconds, you need Steve and 3 minutes and 2 seconds in order to get your votes in. Remember, you can only have one vote. And if you are successful in your closest time to it, you will be given the phone number for the burner phone. And as always on the rules on a burner phone is everyone will be able to see that number. It will only be turned on for the duration of the time we need to call. And if we start to maybe abuse it, then of course that will be a segment that unfortunately Jenny will not be able to do anymore. So please be respectful when the phone number appears, is what I would say on that. So time is nearly up. Have we got any feedback of who's coming through there, Sam? Sam? You're not Sam, you're Joe.
I'm Joe.
No, you're Joe, you're definitely Sam.
No, we've got some great times
Swap
coming
places.
in. So Steve, 4 minutes 20. Oh, Sam, 5 minutes 45
I'd be happy
seconds.
with that.
But
You would.
Coming out. It's coming out. It's coming out. Dad at the minute.
It's all
Is
coming
it?
out.
Yeah,
Like that one.
experience pays.
Experience,
it
absolutely.
seems so. Yeah.
Remember also to get in with your ring or a radial person and any comments to do with those, and we will try and pull those out as we've gone through as well. We don't know who's up first, so we're going to commentate live and see whether it's Dad or is it son. Right, let's see who's up first. Here we go then, folks. Chance to defend yourself, I would suggest here. Who is up first? Oh, it's the wild-eyed son. Oh, straight in. Straight in. Sorry, folks. Yeah.
Nice picture.
Yeah, it reminded me of that giant rug my nan used to have on her hearth. Big white thing it was. It looked like a polar bear had laid there. But unfortunately, your polar bear rug looks like it's like the parting of the Red Sea, because on the top there is sort of a convertible hatch where we can see into the underneath. Okay, so Dr. Emmett Brown here, we suggested you were, Steve, as we went through this. Remember, this might not be your fastest run, okay, but it's the run we're going to use. Well, you seem to get the conduit, all right, so we've done some clever editing, I would suggest there. Yeah, so it's all
Seems to be
good.
quite fast at the moment.
Yeah, okay, it
Could
does
just
look
speed
quick.
it up.
We have speeded it up as well, trust us. Yeah, we have to get it done in 3.5 minutes, else the whole audience will leave us. So we're using our Quickwire strippers there, aren't we? We can see those later on. I thought that was a good idea. I think it was back in the day where Dean Griffin, he used those to try and strip all 3 conductors at the same time. And you look like you've got most of the PVC off the full 1.5 metres of the length, okay, there, in order to connect that neutral into position. So neutral's in concentration phase, I would suggest there. So really concentrate. And, again, maybe a little bit of hovering over the head there. Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Tom.
Well, no, I was worried about glare. So, yeah, it's good. So in we go. So please do not say, and I've seen a few comments, Bernie Eccleston got mentioned there. I just saw it, a little bit of Bernie Eccleston. Okay, probably in his younger days. Okay, so how are we going to tackle this? You're an engineer in mind. Obviously, you want to strip those off, Steve. So how are we going to do that protective conductor? How are you going to connect it? How are you going to connect it? So this is a bit where you talk. I've been talking all the time.
Oh, sorry. How am I? Well,
yeah.
I'm going to strip it.
Strip it halfway.
Strip halfway to get the bend.
Oh, this is my favourite.
Those strippers do that very well.
Yeah, they do, don't they? So that means then no broken conductor, which I like. Yeah, there's nothing worse than having a circuit with a broken conductor, maybe a radial socket circuit with a broken protective conductor that still works. We'll maybe come back to that later on in the show when I'm defending the ring final circuit. This is a radial socket circuit. Okay, we're installing it with the premise of the A3 radial, so 2.5mm squared cables. Did you notice the handle there on the screwdriver? It's also a useful.
No, I know.
Just on the end there, but you're not holding it.
Not once you got it loose.
No. Okay, yes. And in we go. We've got one of those copper bracelets on. Is that for some sort of medical reason?
No, none whatsoever.
No, okay. Some people wear them if they've got like the shakes, but it looks like you need another one if you're going to use one for the shakes. And again, look at that. Yes, it's the carpet you throw away, isn't it?
Wait for Mike.
Yeah, well, Sam, you're up next.
Oh, no.
You're up next, I'm afraid, Sam.
Yeah, so
I might leave in a
do
second.
like that though. A little bit short for me on length, which makes it a little bit. And yeah, Semi used the handle there, up the other way. There you go.
Right.
That's it. Yes, it's all good. So. Well, is it quick to wire? It's not too bad. So you put the screws on the floor. Oh, I think we've gone back on the floor. Oh, with the other one. Oh, a little bit of off-screen help there. Yeah. Yes, it's all good. Screwdriver's back on the floor, so it's good. There we go. We got it again, folks. There we have it. So that looked pretty decent. If that's your worst run. Oh, Sam's up now. Sam's up. Younger person.
We don't need to watch this.
It does look like he's been painting the ceiling quite recently. There is a lot of white flecks in that hair, folks. So as we get closer, there we go. There are all those white flecks.
Is that the only reason that camera's there?
Yes, yeah. So looks like you down as a bit of a cumber patch. Yeah, okay, we had you down there as Benedict. Yeah, so as you look on that side profile, that is absolutely, Mr. Cumberpatch. Yeah, it is.
Dr. Strange.
Yeah, yes, Gary Weird, they call me. Yeah, so here we go. Well, we got it up there, so another fantastic piece of editing, I would suggest, as we go around here. Look, there it is, isn't it, folks? You can all see it. Yeah, I'll be your homes. So here we go. So will this work better out for you? I've got a concentration on as well. Well, find the tools on the floor. How are we going to do this? Same method? You're going to try and do all three at once? Let's have a look. Oh, yeah. Was that the Quickwire strippers? We can't see. We've got the wrong face cam on the go. Oh, look at that novelty. See, notice he's used the handle there. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good idea, isn't it, Steve? Use the handle.
Should have learnt that
It's
by now.
overrated, though, isn't it, for some people? Yep, so we've got one in. Oh, a little grimace there, a little smile.
Oh, I think I was happy, wasn't I?
Again, I'd like to see the family tradition is to leave as much copper on show as possible, which is good. Yeah, look at that. And protective conductor as well. Look at this looks decent as well. This could be one of the closest runs we've ever had. Certainly the first time we've ever had a father and son on that I can remember off the top of my head. Obviously last time, 2 weeks ago, it was a husband and wife partnership. So here we go. Do you think your wife would have liked to have taken it on, Steve?
No.
No. Okay. What about yours, Sam?
Yeah, she'd probably do better than me.
Dabbles in DIY, does she, the wife?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah. Okay. Is that a paintbrush or is that the proper tools?
She's a very competent woman.
Okay, good.
Very
You're
good
trying to
everything.
defend yourself in case she's watching it. Some of the things we had off camera. We mentioned the best 15 minutes of your day was the 15 minutes driving to and from work because there's no children involved. But I won't mention that.
That's the children.
But I never mentioned it. So that's
Boys, I love you very much. You didn't mean
okay.
it.
So let's see how we connect up a socket outlet then. So this should be a dream. Yeah, look at it. Protective conductor there. Love it. You've left you've copied Dad here, and you saw you do your first run. Didn't see Dad not using the handle though, so you got lost there by using the actual handle. These are going in a treat.
We got the good bit in a second, don't we, Gaz?
I don't know, because maybe this time, for the first time in a long time, I'm actually second cam on this, or I am a hand cam. Rick's not with us at the moment. We're looking around, looking for the screws early. I like that. Look for the screws early. Protective conductor. I would leave the screws on top of the socket. You prefer the grey floor for the silver screws. And that's it. We're done. So not a problem at all. So all protective conductor. Don't pop back out. Oh, they're all out. They're all out.
It appears that every single one has come off.
Every single one.
That's because you've got a bad screw.
Overrated handle there. I think if you'd used the shaft, you'd have got those in tight. So the entire collection dropped out in front of your very eyes. We have never had all of the conductors come out, including the fly lead for the back box first fell out, followed by the rest of them.
That's my gift to you.
Wow, it is the gift that will keep on giving. We'll have to name that something. Maybe when the cables drop out, you're doing a garden. Okay.
That could stick.
He's absolutely. Well, you got up there with disgruntled press of the red button. Now, in the defence of you two, that might not have been your best run, but you will get your best time. Okay. Do you think, Steve, that was your best run?
The first one?
Yes.
No.
Sam, do you think? Do you think not connecting the socket outlet once was your best run?
No, I don't think that's my
Right,
I think I
okay.
improved slightly on that.
Absolutely, I don't think it was as well. Hopefully people have now finished voting as have gone in. I think you'll agree that that was great fun to watch, okay? It was brilliant fun for us to be part of as well. So thank you very much for being Game Sports. And I can tell you now, before we get there, the times, and I will read, I've never done it before, I will read the 3 sets of times out afterwards as well. But let's see where you're going to be placed on that leaderboard before we do so. So hopefully all those times are ready. I'm just going to give this over to Joe. We're going to come back to it in a minute because we've got to find out what Rick's been up to. So I'm going to go over to the leaderboard. Let's start, shall we start oldest first? So I apologise.
Go on in,
so,
that's all right.
So Steve, where would you like to look down?
Where would I
The
like?
way you've done it, you look right down to start with. Where would you like to be on the
I'd
leaderboard?
like to be.
You'd like to be up there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but let's be real.
I'm going to say sort of 5 minute, 5.1.
5 minute mark. So let's find where's five minutes.
Yeah.
We're in here. So let's
Somewhere there.
suggest you want to drop in here somewhere on 5 minutes. Okay. Sam, where do you like to finish yourself on the leaderboard?
If I'm on that wall and not that wall, I'm happy.
Yes, and when you started, you were definitely not on this wall, but I can break some really good news to you. You are over here somewhere. Yeah, okay. Where do you think you'll be?
There.
Down the bottom. So you're probably,
bottom.
yeah, okay. So let's, I'm going to pull these off. Okay. So, Sam, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
You want the second time? Okay. Dad, you're up first. Dad, I'm going to go through your times at some point, and you'll see how incredible your times were. So you are, Steve, you start with a 5. So you've got your 5 minutes, okay? However, it goes all the way up to nearly 6.
Okay.
Yeah, so just start with a 5.
Yeah.
You've got 5 minutes 4. So you fumbled around at the last. So that is an absolute classic time, that is, and it slips nicely in there.
Oh, how about that?
5:04. So I think that deserves an absolute round of applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very consistent, and you improved, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. Sam, you were absolutely awful, weren't you, Sam? we just saw it. Now we've got a bit of probably a personal barometer for yourself, haven't we? Because we're at Dad's at where are we?
You're just there.
There, 5:04.
Yep.
So, as Brucey would say, higher or lower?
Oh, well, lower.
Lower. So, yeah, logic says, I'll tell you the last 2 numbers, not the first, are 5 and 5. Is that a 4 at the front or a 5 at the front? What do you think you've got?
I think that's a 5 at the front.
You wouldn't believe this. It was unreal that in that last one that you actually nearly stuffed it on. You never beat Dad until the very last moment, of which you are 4:55, which is a really, from where you started, which was absolutely awful, to where you finished, deserves a round of applause. So well done. That's a cracking little time. Right, first time ever. I'm gonna see how this planned out for us as we watched it live. Okay, so first time ever I got to do this. First run out, Steve, 6:54. Okay, Sam, 8:41. That's how it's done. You imagine we only had one run. Yeah, you would have had minutes over it.
I know. Oh,
Yeah, over
I
there.
had to let the wires fall out and then put them back in.
Second run, Sam, on the radial socket circuit. Okay, you were 5:52. Dad, 5:23. So if we'd have stopped it at that point, you would have still been winning. If we did an average of the times you won, if we did the mean of the times you won, the only way we didn't win, Dad, is by having your last run, Steve, was 5:04, and obviously 4:55. You come across the line in those last minutes.
Yeah.
So well done.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, he's never going to live that down. So the phone number's gone out, so hopefully we've got a couple of minutes for the person who got the closest time. Who was it, please, Joe? So Joe's going to bring his own microphone in and tell us where Rick is as well.
Yeah, the closest person was Ollie. So Ollie, you have 10 minutes to ring Jenny. The number is 07487 704 712, and your time has started about a minute ago. So.
Did you leave him that number? Because that was...
Yeah.
And for anyone else who wants to ring the burner phone, you have the number. So it's good. So with that in mind, as you've got your segment, turn your mic back on. I want to know where Rick is. So Rick's not with us again tonight.
Oh,
burner phone already? Okay, burner phone already.
Hi, Ollie.
You got it?
Hello, how are you? Yes, thank you. Congratulations. Can I take your details, please, Ollie? I'm sure we've got them, but I will anyway.
She's taken.
Did she tell you she was taken?
Shouting at me. It's an in-joke. Don't worry, it's Gary. It's Gary. We're used to Gary, aren't we? Yep, okay, you can take your address, Ollie.
Okay. So to come back, so that's brilliant. So thank you ever so much. That was great. So well done for the rest of the people who didn't use that chance to get in that phone. But unfortunately, if there is a winner, Sam, and that is you, and I would lord it up at
No, I'm sure I'll never
absolutely. We've got a T-shirt for you as well. So make sure that before we leave today, that we present you with your T-shirt live on eFIXX TV. But that means somebody has to tidy up. Okay,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So now you know.
Yeah.
If
No,
you've
I
only
know.
watched one of those
Yeah,
shows,
I should have guessed.
you
shouldn't I?
should have guessed. So let's see.
should have
Let's see
guessed.
what happens when we go back to the green cable room and we do our green cable recycling. It's just one of those days, isn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't rain, but
No,
it
it
pours.
pours, doesn't it? And look at all that wonderful cable getting recycled into our green cable bin.
Yeah.
Okay, and for those people who would like their own green cable bin, the link is in the description. They are spreading themselves far and wide across the UK. It's a fantastic service. We did a video 2 or 3 live streams ago where we actually delved into how much money we got back, didn't we? So we're double dipping. So we get free cable and then we recycle it because that's the right thing to do. And using less cable obviously always thinks about the ring final circuit when we think about that. Now, when we think about socket circuits now, we should be thinking Quickwire, shouldn't we, Steve?
We should, quite right.
Why should we be thinking about Quickwire?
Because
Because what?
it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Sliced
But
bread.
that's
Well,
my
actually,
opinion.
if earlier on in the show, you don't have to have sliced bread. You can actually slice it yourself. So
With chocolate,
yeah.
with chocolates and brioche.
yeah, with chocolate.
I heard you saying that from around there. I was like, what are they on about?
Right. Okay. So we've got some products on the table here. You can see over the space of today, we've gone Quickwire mad. Okay, and we've got some products that are old. So, you know, my favourite mug of all time. Got some strippers over there, but we've got a new product here. So this is vitally important to the business. Obviously, it's a new product. It's one that people have been asking for absolutely ages for. And if you're familiar with the Quickwire brand, the look of that absolutely looks like some other products we'll see later on in the show. But what have you come up with here this time, Steve?
Right, well, we've come up with 2 products, 24 amps, and they take 2.5mm cable, so they're for power circuits.
Right.
What else can I say about it? It's got obviously the Quickwire technology in there.
Yeah. Okay.
This one, let's start with this one.
Yep.
This one is for either joining a cable, 2 cables together, but more importantly, this is for adding an extra circuit into your ring final.
Oh, lovely. I like a ring final.
So you'd need 2 of these, of course, like you probably often already do use 2 terminal blocks.
So people haven't seen it before. The actual way these are connected is just world class.
Okay.
So can you just talk me through the stripping tool?
We're using our Quickwire stripper.
Yeah, and there's a
the
number
cable.
on it, isn't there,
There's a
on the
number
side?
and you
Yeah,
get
so
it round
do it the right way around.
So you line it up with the
Yeah.
22mm.
Okay, and you strip it.
You strip it.
Yeah, and then just talk me through this, because again, I know.
You bring the nose right up to the sheath.
Okay, so we use that as the
and
point
then
of the next strip.
again.
Okay, brilliant.
Then you leave it alone.
Right, no, define,
don't-
sorry,
Well, you
leave it alone. What do you mean by leave it alone?
Look, leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Don't fuss over it
don't,
at this point.
Yeah, you don't fuss. You don't splay it. You don't do anything because.
Okay, so you do nothing with it. What about green and yellow sleeve? And we'll come back to that.
You don't need the sleeve. You
Okay,
don't
and
need
then
sleeve at
I'm
all.
trying to line it up in here with the 3 holes. Yeah, there's 3 holes in there.
There's 3 holes in there, but you shouldn't really need to. It
Okay,
should just
so
be a
it'll
matter. Obviously, you've got to get it around the right way, but.
Okay, have you got it
I'm
round the
sure
right way?
all your electricians do not
Yeah.
get it round the wrong way, so that's all right. So just
Okay.
plonk it in there
Yeah.
and then push.
That's it.
And that's core gripped.
That won't catch on. That seemed incredibly easy. That's,
I'll do-
the
I'll do
people
it
who
again,
only
just-
like radial circuits are like that because we're trying to make sure the industry is foolproof for those people who
So,
can't do a ring
just
final circuit test. Okay, so there we go, strip. This is in real time now. Okay, that's good. You look like you've done this before.
Done it a few times.
Okay.
Round the right way.
Yep, and
That's it.
cool.
And
were
that's
a
proper
little-
core gripped.
Well, yeah, you
Proper
were under a lot of pressure there, though, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there we have it. So it's identified by conductors. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we got there. And all of a sudden, I find I want to disconnect one of these. Okay, that looks like you couldn't pull it
Yeah.
apart. So how would I disconnect those
well,
conductors?
You usually get a little tool with it,
Okay, yep,
provided you buy enough of them,
yep. Okay.
and you just do that. And that's it.
Oh, that looks,
You can see where it's gripped the cable.
yep. And is it maintenance free?
It's maintenance free. It will be maintenance free.
It will be, or it is.
It will be.
Okay, yeah.
It
okay.
is.
It is. Thank
It
you.
is.
Yeah,
It
it is
is.
maintenance free. Okay, brilliant. So just bring Hand come back out for me for a second. Let me just take a deep breath. It sounds like you've designed this project to work maybe with a ring final circuit. Is that what you've done?
Correct.
Okay, so it could be that I wanted to take a leg of a ring final circuit and increase the ability to wire sockets in other areas. Is that right? This is something we did at your house show, didn't we?
We did, yes. So we put some sockets in my daughter's bedroom, and yeah, we broke into the ring final. I think we've got some pictures.
Yeah, we have. So if we bring the first picture up.
So yeah, we
see what we've got
found
there.
place under the floorboard. So typical, home of the electrician. We've managed to break into the ring at that point, and it's always that nervous bit, isn't it, when you cut into it. If you bring the next one up, Joe, where you know it's dead, okay? You know you've isolated, you know you've switched it off,
but you still look away and wait for the bang.
Yeah, they're a pretty new pair of cutters as well, so we normally put a hole in them.
So we've taken one leg of the ring final circuit there. I know I'm talking to electricians. I took one leg of the ring final circuit there that I could easily access. It probably would be quite difficult to get up to the socket there. We can see on the left-hand side. We can see it's wired on the ring final circuit because we'd have carried out the test to prove it, because that test is well within the capabilities of all electricians. Yeah. So we cut that one, and then we're on to the next slide, where we can see that we've just done that joining process you did for us, Steve, there. So we've extended, effectively, both of those were the cable we cut, so they were on the ring final circuit, Joe?
Yeah,
okay. And what's the process now? What's the other two cables? Where have they gone off to?
So they've gone into my daughter's room, and they've gone to each socket in there. And then so we brought those two legs back to wire into both of those floorboards. So yeah, we should see that on the next slide there, where they come in. You know, and it's it's a neat job. I mean, you can put these. You've got clips for the joists.
Yes,
as well,
I've got clips here.
Yeah, so we just look at that. Look at that. Is a lovely looking job. How many times have we lifted a floorboard and seen a brown circular joint box? Okay, maybe some of that basic insulation on show and all the rest of it. Maybe the lid's sometimes missing. That's a maintenance-free connector. We haven't got to worry about that.
No,
okay, we can
fit and forget.
Yeah, fit and forget. But we have got a clip, and we'll have a look at it in a minute, that could, if we wanted to put it onto the side of a joist. And we've extended the ring final circuit, which is brilliant. Now, we're going to leave a few caveats in this one. So, Joe, you took it off me, actually. Why did you take it off me, first of all?
Because, when you said to me, we've got another junction box, and I'll be honest,
another junction box.
I thought, this is what the world needs. But then, I got, no, that's what I said. Does the world need another,
You've said it twice now.
Stuff like that. So, yeah, and I ripped it off you because I wanted to have a go with it, and I was absolutely blown away. What got me, quite honestly, was the speed. The speed and how secure it was. It didn't feel insecure at all in any part of that installation that we did.
It's a brilliantly designed product, and hats off to you. We're going to see some of the previous stuff you've done. I've been a massive fan of the Quickwire brand, Sam, for some time, and you know that, and we've corresponded through social media for many years now, and it's great because are we the first people to get our hands on these?
Yes, absolutely.
Sam, if I wanted to buy some today, because in a minute I'm going to fall in love with these, can I buy them today?
No, but they will be on sale early next year. I think you guys have got the launch a couple of weeks into January, and then from then on, buy them all.
Okay, so just to give you that, we've been very privileged and proud to actually, Steve and Sam, on your behalf, to do the launch videos for these. Okay, we've done a series of 3 videos. You've done an install video. Okay, so we're actually showing it being installed and how it can be practically used. We've done a Q&A on it. So I'd just like to tease it out there. I thought I read on there, Joe, 24 amps.
You did read 24.
You're a little bit short.
You did read 24 amps. So I would be
short current. I think you're a bit worried.
Everyone else thinks of these being rated at 24 amps. So,
but we're not going to give the answer today?
We're not, no, because we've got a technical Q&A video coming up for that.
There is another one later. Hang on, I've just seen something I'm never going to unsee again. That's gone. Sorry. So, again, if you want to see how the person that started this show, the person we've just seen there, also links into is that the product review or is that the Q&A video? It's the Q&A one, is it?
No, I think that's the
product review video. So again, once you've seen it, folks, you cannot unsee it, and I'm trying not to look at it so I can try and unsee it. Obviously, that will be in that video as well. So in the technical Q&A, we've got that. And later on, we'll tease another thing about the second one that will also appear in that Q&A video. So at the minute, just take our word for it and then add the knowledge in when those videos come out in mid-June. Mid-June?
No.
Mid-April? No, we'll go for mid-January.
January.
I can make it wait if you want. I mean,
no, we don't want to wait. Another great use of this one, obviously, is damaged cable. Yeah, so if we damage a cable, talk me through the advantages of that one, can you please, Sam and Joe? So if I damage a cable, what's the advantage of using this one for a damaged cable?
Well, you gain length with this. If you've got a cable with no slack on, and you can chop into it, you actually gain, I don't know what that is, like 5,
It's
6
about 2 centimetres, something like that.
So, at times that can really save the day.
Yeah, so the cable's tight.
Okay, and is that something you experienced, Joe? Did we find that in your install?
So we got friction burn, didn't we, on the leg that we ran in?
Yeah.
Pulling it through the joist. Not that we were trying to cram too much in, through one hole. We drilled a new one.
Of course not.
But we damaged it. It was too tight to pull either way, and we used this.
Yeah.
And we actually and that was what was great. We gained a length, and back in the day where you might be struggling around with crimps, through crimps and through ferrules, and or even doing 2 connections to give you that extra cable. Yeah. We didn't have to do it.
No one wants that.
No one wants that.
No one wants that.
So
Test holes.
maintenance free. We alluded to there, and I'll be interested in people's comments. No green sleeving for me. Absolutely no green sleeving to identify that conductor as it goes into that connection. There's no green sleeving running throughout the cable. Obviously, that is not seen. It's identified, isn't it, by the lettering at connection points as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a requirement. In fact, this wouldn't work. Because I tried it. I tried to ram it in with a bit of sleeving on there, and it just wouldn't do it.
Okay.
Wouldn't make the connection. And you don't need it. You've got nothing there.
Okay, so it's great for joining cables, great for joining for a ring final circuit, okay, and then you've taken that product, Sam, and you've added to it. So when I look at the 4-way now that we've got here, what's the thinking behind the 4-way splitter?
Well, the 4 is basically a 4-way universal splitter. So obviously distributing the power if you want to in 4 ways. You can add a spur.
Add a spur. So let's just take a look at this because I'll probably ask for your input on this one as well. So, okay, so we've got what looks like 2 on top of each other. That's 1 unit, and we've got all the cable connections identified just as LN and protective conductor, unlike maybe the ones we'll see later on. And we're suggesting here that we can come in with a cable, out with a cable, maybe from a ring final circuit. Do you agree with that, Joe? So I'll come in for the ring final circuit, out for the ring final circuit, and then I've got 2 options for coming off to a spurred socket outlet. Do you agree with that? Yeah, and what's nice about this is if your cable was quite short, you could bring it in both from one end, say being the ring final circuit, and you've got 2 choices then for coming out with a spur, and then maybe if you come out with a spur, you've got the opportunity then just to use one of those 3. Okay, and I can do something equally on a radial socket circuit, can't I?
Yeah, absolutely. So
But we don't call it a spur, do we?
No, we don't.
What do we call it?
Just extend the socket.
Yeah, just extending
socket.
the circuit. Yeah. So again, we've got the option then of doing exactly the same. Yeah, on doing a radial socket circuit as well. Okay, is another option. So we're going to have a look at the board then. So, where is Rick? So while we have a quick break and you just do that, let's see if Joe can tell us where Rick is. Okay, where is Rick?
So Rick, this week, obviously Rick's been on his travels for the past about 2 months now, but this week Rick has been getting in the festive spirit and he's been cutting down a Christmas tree.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he cut down the Christmas tree and then he found some squirrels in it, so him and the squirrel made best of friends and decided to cook a nut roast. And that's Rick.
As long as he's not eating the
No,
squirrel.
no.
It's a red squirrel. We're aware that red squirrel, if anyone red squirrels
Tastes like
are
chicken, do
a
they?
protected species, we know.
But they taste like chicken.
They taste like chicken.
It's amazing though, everyone tells you everything tastes like chicken. You know, it's like, well, does chicken taste that much? No, not really. So let's come back to the 4-way split, because I know what's going to be happening now, okay? So people are going to be saying to me, I've got my ring final circuit, I've come into my ring final circuit, and then I've got 2 options. I've got 2 spare ways to take a spur off to the left, maybe a spur off to the right. Joe, when will you tell us that answer?
Well, that answer is going to come up amazingly in the Q&A that we've done round about mid-January.
Not July. Not April, July.
July, or it's definitely going to be 2024, Dan, I promise you.
And it's definitely mid-January. So again, there's one for you. As you look at that connector, let your brain start whirring away about obviously extending a ring final circuit with spurred socket outlets. Remember, rings are the best. So you've got the ability to take that spurred socket outlet off it, okay? Or it could be a radial socket circuit. You're adding just 2 additional sockets off in 2 different directions. Get your brain thinking, get yourself in the comments. Which way are you going with that style of connector? Can you think of an engineering solution, or can you think of a way of maybe suggesting the engineer has got it wrong? So both of those would be what we want this evening. I think it's that strong debate within that connector as well. So we've got 24 amps. You'll find that one out. We've got 4 ways of coming off that. Maybe 2 of them were on the ring. Could have come off twice with the spurred socket outlets. That's an interesting one.
And it's well worth waiting.
It is. If only not to see the picture of that lady again. That would be worth waiting for as well. Remember, folks.
Yeah, well, Pompey's coming in. Dude looks like a lady, and we've got those darned housewives doing electrical work.
That's the premise of that part of the video.
So yeah.
So engineering background, you've got a solution here. It's been a while though, hasn't it? This wasn't.
Yes, you can
people
say
have
that.
been asking for this since the previous connectors you've done, haven't they?
Yeah, several years.
Okay.
Several years, but not continuous 7 years. But
So it seems too easy, doesn't it? You've done one similar to this, and we'll see some of your lighting products in the second section of the show. It seems so easy just to go, I'm going to now do one for radial and ring socket circuits, okay? But what does that process look like to us as the people who just go and buy this product?
well, this looks very much like our other product that we've got, which you'll see in a minute, which is 16 amp.
But what does your process look like? What did you have to go through to get that on my table?
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep.
Lots of it. Lots of midnight burning oil. Lots of.
Go through that process, because I don't think people genuinely appreciate, because you're not a not a multi-million-pound company with all these research and development departments. You've got to still put this up to pass a standard.
Oh yes, the standards. Yes,
so
of course.
to get through that. So what did that put you through, Steve?
Well, getting things tested is obviously quite expensive, and particularly this test that it has to get through is maintenance-free.
Right.
And that is a very arduous test. And to send it to a test house, you're talking about 9 weeks of continuous 24 amps. And during that time, your temperature mustn't go up, your millivolts mustn't go above 22.5, and so on. So it has to pass that. So 9 weeks before you even know if you've got something that's okay. So,
and is that one they test for 9 weeks, or is it a batch of?
No, it's a batch. It's a small batch, small quantity, and they'll take it continuously.
For 9 weeks,
for 9 weeks to test
full
it.
Current.
Yeah, full current.
Okay. Yeah.
After that, they then put it on at 32 amps. They cycle it on off for 30 minutes off for a week.
The same connector.
So that's now taking 32 amps.
Okay. Wow, this must be sleepless times.
There are other tests as well. They also vibrate the hell out of it. They'll vibrate it this way, that way. And
for maintenance free, yeah.
To make sure nothing vibrates loose. Then they do the pull-out test. Because it's the same products that will go through this test. So it's a bit like driving them, and they're getting all this harsh treatment. It's not like they're getting a new product out every time they do a test. It's just continuous. That poor product's going through all of those things.
It's not nice doing a Quickwire test, you know.
Do they blast it with any maximum current?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, they do. At the end of it, I'm not sure at what stage they do it, but at some point they put 300 amps through it for a second, and the poor thing has to then survive that and still work, still have the right millivolts drop across the contacts faces. So it's one hell of a test. So if you're using something that says MF, it's got MF written on it. It's got to have that on it for it to be considered maintenance free and obviously pass the test. You can trust it.
Yeah.
And going back to the testing, if I was to pay a test house to keep testing it every time I tried to improve the product, it would be prohibitive costs. So I do the testing myself. So I've been testing that for well over 2 years virtually, and improving it until we get to the point where it's.
That's incredible, because your company's not massive, is it? Quickwire.
No, we're not.
It doesn't employ 250 people, does it?
No.
Yeah, no.
No.
So no.
No, it's a small company. So what's it like living with the inventor of a new product that knows it's got to put itself his test?
Unfortunately, he's left home.
Yeah, luckily, I've left home. He made me leave home, unfortunately.
No, I mean at work. Living with him at work.
Yeah, no, well, he just generally, there's just paper everywhere, isn't there, with scribbles on it, and then you do like Excel.
When that time's ticking,
like Excel.
Yeah, when that time's ticking though, Sam, and that 9 weeks starts, what's he like? What's he like?
He's all right. I'm more nervous, I think, about it.
Do you get feedback during the test?
Well, you know if it's going to go a bit tits up, excuse my French, but it's likely to, you'll get an indication after about 3 or 4 weeks that, hang on, this isn't quite right. So you can abort that and then try the next thing.
Okay.
But what actually sort of sets that one apart is the alloys, the copper alloys, which I'm not going to divulge, that we found eventually, and that's what gets it through. Because the point is, it's got to be, the contacts in there have got to be springy, but yet very conductive, and it's trying to find the best thing. That's obviously copper's the most conductive, but it's not very springy, as you know. It's soft as anything. So you're really trying to get these exotic alloys, which we get from a company in a foundry in Germany. Okay. Which unfortunately, when we were doing the testing, it's 2 or 3 years ago now, two years.
Yeah, about that.
They had the floods.
Right. Okay.
In Germany, and all the foundries were there, and they were all sort of flooded out. So
I lost us a year.
We,
didn't it,
we,
of
yeah,
development?
the whole year we couldn't. We used a different alloy instead, which was no good, and
Right, okay. So
we wasted a lot of time.
that's the
through
pains of
bad
the
luck, and then
inventor, isn't
COVID,
it?
of course.
Yeah, good
So,
old COVID came in
yeah.
as well, but that's pains of the inventor. So to get a
Oh, yeah.
product from drawing board to effectively in
Yeah.
our hands for a release in I
Yeah.
don't know, middle of say January, okay, it was a full-on process. So when people
Oh,
look
yeah.
at these products,
Oh,
that,
yeah, don't come.
that effectively, I won't say smaller companies, but more an independent feel to a company, has had to put themselves
Oh,
through.
yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy.
And how would you describe that product when you had it for the first time in your hands? Because I'd seen them for some time. What did you think about it, Joe?
And I'm not being dramatic when I say this, revolutionary. And I think that's how I've kind of gone with that swing on it, because again, and as I've said to you, I went in there thinking, did we need another one? And with that,
Sometimes.
I really do not think we need anything else. It was such a great product, such good innovation, an innovative product.
Thank you.
And
It's
again,
worth it then.
if anyone's used the lighting version, which we'll see in the second half of the show, put it in the comments. What's your feeling? What's your feedback? Okay. And again, I'm a great believer in, that is an incredibly engineered piece of equipment that will be one of those products that you just fit and forget. No one's going to be sitting there worrying about that, especially what you've just told us through on that testing process as well, which is pretty incredible, isn't it? Yeah. So can we just have a feel for those comments as we're trying to get to the
Yeah, absolutely.
So is there anything in there that's grabbed your fancy on the way through?
Absolutely, yes.
While you're looking for that,
So I had a nice one here off Princess Spark. We could have done we've done with one of these the other day for a damaged cable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that. Yeah, we
I'm going to send her some.
used it as well. What else have we got on here? Is it watertight in case water was to fall on it?
No, it's not watertight.
No, but we don't tend
We
to find a
don't,
lot of
no.
water under a floorboard or in an
It's
attic.
IP30.
IP30. Okay.
IP30. Yeah, Ollie coming here. Love to see the Made in Britain.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Let's see that again, because we
well.
don't see that often.
We're proud of
enough,
that.
do we? Yeah, you and Doncaster cables ought to be. I can't see if I can see it there. It's just in that corner.
And
Just
it really is made in Britain.
it really is made in Britain. I love that.
Most,
Not just a lie.
yeah.
I don't say most of it at the end of that.
I say that because you can say something's made in Britain if you buy two parts and you fit them together, two assemblies together that you bought from China or wherever, and you
Yeah.
put them together, just like 2 seconds,
Yeah.
you can say made in Britain.
Okay.
That's not that though. That's properly made in Britain.
I like it. I like the way you've done that, Steve. That's properly.
Properly made.
Properly
in
made.
Britain.
Yeah, we
We're
also
bringing the hand cam again as well, because I've only just discovered this tonight, and we didn't know this when we tested it. So the one thing which has come in is about, well, how could you test if this was dead? So you've got a little. I thought it was a car fuse, or what it looked like, but you come off there and you've got your 3 test points just here. Look, so you can actually still test this, and that's captive. So you're not going to lose that under a floorboard or under a pile of fiberglass insulation when you're working on these in the loft. I think that's brilliant.
No, it's good. No, it's not again. Very well engineered piece of
Very
kit. This
well
is.
I like to think so.
Whoever did it in your company needs to be really proud of themselves.
Yeah, quite
I
agree.
really like you thought about this, Dad. Really
Try
like
very
it.
hard. Yeah, so, and again, fantastic to see, and again, made in Britain. We absolutely love it. So, again, it's just one of those things that I fell in love with it the first time. Yeah, and obviously
Thank
you
you.
stole it off me. So if we come back to ring and radial debate, okay, I've got a lovely product here that fits in with my ring final circuit and extending ring final circuits. I still haven't heard anything out of your lips, Joe, yet that's waning me away from the millions of ring final circuits that are installed in this country. Okay, have you got any more things that you want to offer up as defence of the radial circuit?
Yeah, I mean, we can use your Quickwire on the radials. I do
Yeah,
believe as
oh,
well.
yes, you can.
Extend a radial or spur off radial as well.
But spur off radial. So
Again, well, no,
I
you
mentioned
just,
that earlier.
just extend it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
so we
correcting
just
yourself there.
extend it. But, again, ease of installation, as always. I know we're going to get the floor space arguments
are we?
coming. I've got a feeling that's
Only if you bring it up in the defence for your circuit.
to come. And, I've got a good swathe of talent on the comments right now.
Okay, so I've got
agreeing with
I don't
me.
know, I'm just going to pick a random number if you want to talk about floor space. I've got, I don't know, say 76 metres squared, and I'm just going to install my socket circuits in there using maybe Appendix H of the on-site guide and following it for a dwelling, okay? What are you doing?
Well, if it was 76 metres,
I don't need-
and
I
I
don't-
wanted to
no, we're gonna-
install that. Well, you're going to have to let me explain.
Well,
here,
we're not
Gary.
going to fudge
You're
the
gonna have
rules
to let
here.
me-
We're not going to fudge the
You're going
rules.
to have to let me say,
we'll
but
fudge the rules.
historically, if we were to look at
Historically.
Appendix H, where
Yeah,
it says
yeah.
that historically, so there's no hard and fast rule around this because as, you know, because we don't know what's going to get plugged in. We don't know what those load characteristics are going to be. And 75 square metres and 100 square metres is a good amount of space.
Okay, and I said...
Served, not to get there.
I understand, please don't. Yeah, I do understand that. But I've said 76. I've forgot about your 75 mil rule, metres rule. So I've said 76 just by accident there. So what are you going to do about your circuit then?
Well, if required, I'm going to offer my customer great selectivity by perhaps installing 2 cables, which is kind of what we're doing with a Radial anyway, because we're going to, with a ring final rather, because we're going to have to come back with that secondary leg. Just avoid the secondary leg altogether and just give that selectivity.
So I'm just thinking back at the electrician being yourself. So I'm going to now have 2 overcurrent protection devices, 2 different circuits to test on the certificate. Okay, 2 circuits to validate because of this floor area being such a massive issue to you. Whereas I could install the 1 ring final circuit, maybe even encourage the customer maybe to install an AFDD on it, because obviously there'll be less work involved in my circuit. Obviously I can upgrade the overcurrent protection device on the circuit, even offering better protection for that socket circuit. There's nothing wrong with the ring final circuit that I'm going to install. It's going to be tested and left, and you're there with 2 circuits. You're going to start cluttering up that consumer unit. See why they're getting a lot bigger over time with people like yourself trying to do little radial circuits everywhere.
No, you're absolutely right. And I know that if we wanted to install that ring final circuit, as I know you're going to do for a customer, and we're going to have that explanation, aren't we, about, well, this is where I want you to put your microwave. The kettle can go over here. Perhaps we'll have the air fryer over in this direction, because I want to make sure those loads are going to get balanced. And also, when you can use those loads, because we always want to maintain that our ring final is balanced across all of its loads at the right time. I would hate for an excessive amount of load in one part of the ring and not in the other, putting additional strain on that particular leg.
Yeah. I spoke to my good friends at Doncaster Cables once about cable characteristics and maximum current carrying capacity, and their words were, it's an absolute joke, because we have put cables in the stressful conditions that they've said the maximum current is, and their temperature rise is nowhere near the maximum operating temperature of those. So I think the cable manufacturers have put a little bit of slack in there for people, maybe with your ring final circuit issue. But it reminds me, because normally the defence of a ring versus radial is the fact that the ring circuit could become open ring circuit. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scenario here. So you're going to have the same problem on your circuit as I'm going to have on mine. Okay, so I've wired the ring final circuit. It's absolutely perfect, but for some unknown reason, I don't know how this is ever going to happen when the electrician's left it working, but the CPC in one socket has become disconnected. Okay, so if one of them is a smaller conductor, it's at 2.5 for the lives, 1.5 for the, it's broken. One of them is broken. All of my circuits are working nice and safely. Okay, they've all got a CPC connection. Okay, they're all happy. The same has happened on your radial socket, so when this broken conductor, because everyone throws up the broken conductor on a ring final circuit, and your first socket goes in, and then the CPC is broken at socket number 1, and then goes off and feeds as many sockets as you like. Remember, that's what it says. As many sockets as you like within a maximum floor area. Let's make the 50 metre squared one. You keep you at 2.5 as well. So you've put in 150 other twin socket outlets in your area, which is allowed. How many of the 150 twin socket outlets have a connection to the circuit protective conductor?
149
have no connection to it.
Have no CPC connection.
So how many have connection? How many connections have one? Then
there would be
just the one. Just the one. So anyone out there who wants to throw at me that a ring final circuit can become open circuit and therefore an issue, I've just told you clearly you're right. Ours all have a circuit protective conductor, and your radial 149 of them have no CPC. They'll work though, won't they?
They would still work.
They would still work. Would they be very safe?
With that broken CPC. But then, you know, we've got that scenario, haven't we, where with my 150 sockets that I've wired, because you're allowed 150 sockets.
As many as you want.
Yeah, as many as you want. But I've also installed 200 downlighters on that, on a circuit as well. And at my first light fitting, my CPC's broken. Oh. So
it's dreadful, isn't it? Some of your workmanship is absolutely awful. So I just think you've argued yourself into I'm right again. So I'm right again.
Am I going to have that same level of protection? And we don't wire lighting circuits within a ring final. In fact, we are the only country that is wiring with this ring final, because I think if we bring in a lot of hypotheticals, which I know we are doing.
I'd like to think that the double insulated light fittings that you've just gone to are okay, Joe. Yeah, but we can get to that as well. Yeah. Obviously they're brass, your ones. Yeah. Class 1 equipment. Okay, but they've got no CPC. Okay, so yeah, I can see what you're saying. Your argument's pretty loose, so we're going to leave it just there because obviously we were going to need as many comments as we can. So I think we'll see what Rick's been up to. We know he's been obviously out with the squirrels, but he must have been busy somewhere else as well.
Rick's Tool Time.
Hello and welcome to Rick's Tool Time. Now that we've transitioned past the lighter months of the year, our focus turns towards the darker months. Just next week on Friday the 22nd, often known as Builders Friday, or more importantly, the day many of us break up for Christmas, marks the UK's winter solstice, the longest night of the year. It's intriguing to ponder why during the warmer months we find ourselves as electricians adding extra layers and rolling around in lofts sweating when we're arguably better off outside. Yet it seems nobody calls us for those jobs until winter sets in, with its cold, dark days and shorter daylight hours leaving us fumbling around in the dark. Now let's take a look at the Leaderboard work light, the 5-watt USB flexible torch with a motion sensor. For those who appreciate a product number, this is the LIL HF35P65. Our first encounter with this was during Shael's run on the Electricians Challenge wall, where he felt the need for additional lighting. There are occasions when we find ourselves leaving the torch strapped to our head for extended periods of the day. The flexible LED strip moulds itself to the shape of your forehead, meaning the narrower your forehead, the wider the beam spread will be. Yet while you have the torch fixed to your head, you're constantly flicking the light on and off. I'd bet the moment you find yourself in the dark and needing light, your hands are full. Fortunately, on this torch, there's a small motion sensor attached to the side. With a swipe of the hand, we have light, and with another swipe, it's off. If you wish to revert back to the non-motion sensing, simply press the Wi-Fi button. Regarding lighting, we have two sources: a single cob or chip on board LED strip across the front for a wide beam, and a second light source from the side for a more focused light. Each of these lights has two brightness settings. No need to search for batteries, as this is a rechargeable unit with a USB-C port. In fact, we've even been given a charging lead. You don't get that from Apple. When working on site, safety regulations mandate the use of a helmet. Leaderboard has supplied additional clips specifically designed to securely affix the torch on top of the helmet, ensuring not only compliance but also convenient hand-free illumination. And with all that said, I have my use for these head torches. There you have it. The Christmas tree lights are sorted. It's a shame they don't flash anyways. Shh. The elf's getting the blame for that one. So let me know, what do you think? Is it great or is it a gimmick? Get your votes in, but till then, have a fantastic break and I'll see you on the flip side. Ta-da.
Rick's Tool Time.
Absolutely brilliant as always from Rick.
Brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So, you know, it's just that, yeah, he's just got it down to a fine patter there, but it does mean that we need somebody, Steve, to get down on their hands and knees and coo for the tool from above. Is that something you feel that you'd like to do?
No.
No. Oh, look, where's Sam?
Come on, let's just do it. Come on.
Sam's been so keen to do this.
That's why I agreed to come.
Yes. Okay, so you're going to need to be this side, because remember, you're trying to embarrass yourself in front of your family. So on the hands and knees, young man, like we practiced earlier, and we're going to look up and we're going to try and summon the tool from above. Can you remember the call sign?
Tool.
Well, not everybody can hear you. Say that again.
Tool.
That's the one. Okay, so we're up with our hands.
Like I practiced. Sorry.
Yeah. So are you ready, Sam?
Ready,
okay.
okay.
Ready. So maybe you want to...
Tool.
Thanks, whoa. Let's go back up. We'll edit this out. He likes you, doesn't he? So, remember? Did you listen to the bits we did? We did practice bits of this, right? Ready? I've got a feeling, Sam, it won't come down on the first go.
Until I call it.
No, so the first go won't work. Let's
call
try
it now and see what happens. Tool.
What are the chances it didn't work? Sam, you've got to try a bit harder here, Sam. So a bit harder, right?
A bit harder.
Tool.
Tool. Thank you very much. That was effortless.
Oh, it's done.
Okay, let's have a look what's in the basket here. So we're gonna, they could put some, I don't know, they could put like half a kangaroo or something in one of these bags, and maybe that could come in. That's another thing, isn't it? We didn't think of that, did we? So stand it back up.
Oh.
So imagine the bush took a trials over. Sorry, whatever else you can do.
But the trials are available.
Sam, you need to
Oh, I've got to wear it. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
On there.
Is it on properly?
No, it isn't on properly. It's funny when it's on properly.
how you
Right,
do it.
okay, so let's have a look at this then. We've got the tool wall here. So this is Rick's tool wall. And just to run you through what's happening on the wall here, Sam, right down in the bottom left-hand corner, which is there. Nice Christmas treat for me. So down here is the coffee machine from Makita, which is an absolute gimmick. You can't make 2 coffees in 15 minutes. So that goes down there. And we go all the way through. So as we cycle up through the board, we come to your 6, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s and 11s in the top right-hand corner. And it's up to you, Sam, to position this very competitively priced LED torch somewhere on that board. Where do you think it should go?
It's a head torch. Everyone loves a head torch.
Everyone loves head, yeah.
I'm going to score it highly.
Torch. Yeah, so you're going where?
I'm going to go here.
Oh, you're going, that's about 10 and a half, Sam.
Oh, do you think that's
No, it's good. No, you put it away. That's your choice. No, it's your choice. It's mine.
I suppose it's not that great. I mean, we could put it with the coffee machine.
No, don't put it with a coffee machine. Nothing goes without
Right,
coffee
original.
machine.
There you go.
There we go.
oh,
We lost one on the way through as well, Sam.
One up, one has to come
It's
down.
the Brocket set and hole saws. We love that. Cracking from Armeg. So there we go. So we think, well, Sam thinks that the Seco head torch gets about a 10 and a half.
Can I take it
Out
off?
of 11. Yes, you can take it off.
Can you
yes.
keep it?
Okay. Again, have you got one of these? Rick absolutely loves them. He's managed to get a couple of extra ones for his Christmas trees, we noticed in there. For those people who don't celebrate Christmas, we're not trying to over-egg the fact that this is our last one of the year. We'd like to think everybody in this country will probably get some time off in the December period. And if you're celebrating a happy holidays, that's also good as well. So, yeah, just remember, we don't all celebrate the Christian festival at this time, and other Christians celebrate other festivals. So, okay, here we go. So that's all good. Right, well,
Speaking of
celebrating.
festivities,
I knew that was coming. I segued in
speaking
myself.
of any kind of have you been out anywhere?
No, not recently.
Have a night out?
No, I don't go out. No, I don't go out at all. I just go. I'm sure.
Let's see.
You may tell a lie there, Gary. You've mugged off Sam by making him kneel and bring down the tool from above, and it is everyone at eFIXX's turn to return the favour. So Gary was spotted in the very early hours of the morning in Skipton with some drinks. Just give this a watch.
Get out often?
I tell you, I went out with Paul Elcott. What a legend that bloke is.
Yeah.
Paul Elcott from Dog Store. He can drink. He ordered his first 2 pints to try and catch us up when he first got there, and he continued on that rhythm all the way through the night. I think he was having double whiskies when I was on single ones, and we had a fantastic night. So thank you, Paul Elcott from Dog Store, the place where you should get all your books, okay, trying to support people, obviously in Great Britain, okay, and Paul's Dog Store is a fantastic place in order to get all those books, and he's got some new ones coming out, which I think I'll get a preview of one of those very soon as well. But drinking-wise, the bloke is an absolute monster. Okay, I didn't realise until I checked my Instagram, and I mean, I was not great in the meeting that I managed to get to the next day, that one of my posts was at 1 o'clock in the morning, which gave me a little bit of an idea that I wasn't near my bed at that moment in time. So it looked like it was about a 2 o'clock finish and a 7 o'clock rise.
We're all curious about where you got your hat from.
That was also Paul Elcott's. Yeah, so Paul went out his hat and I borrowed it. I think I was trying to perhaps do my inner Brian Harvey from E17. I think I was trying to, channel that part of my body. It was a great night, but it was an awful Friday. I mean, an awful. I haven't had a Friday like that for an absolute eternity. So for all the younger people viewing out there, it's not a good idea to overdo it at any age. So no, it was awful. I'm looking forward to doing it again next year because it's about, I'm going to need that amount of time to forget how terrible I was on the Friday, and I was truly terrible. But Paul, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it, and he was very gracious to furnish me with all of those alcoholic beverages out of his own pocket. So thank you for that. So it really was good. Yeah, apart from every one of them done me in. So thank you, Paul. Thank you for that. Yeah, anything I can do to return the favour, I'd love to help you out. Okay, so Community-wise then, we did a poll, didn't we, on YouTube? Is that right, Joe?
We did, yeah, we did a poll. We asked the community about ring or radials, or if just UK wiring is weird for our international.
So we know what's happening now. It's obviously going to come out as the ring, because today, how many electricians have been out on those new build sites installing ring final circuits, and they will now suggest maybe that wiring is weird or something like that, and nobody fesses up when they're asked that question. Do you wire ring or radials, or do you prefer? They say they prefer, but nobody says, do you wire? So we all wire ring circuits, but when asked the question, we like to say radials. So we know what's going to happen here, ring final circuits.
See?
Yes, it was close. Okay.
It really wasn't.
It was close. It was
really
close.
No.
If it was a hung parliament, yeah, what would get in would be the opposition party would come together and they would be now running the country. Okay, so that's the
that would be
Conservatives.
weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. But that's how they get in, folks. So we could have got in on a slight majority there of 1%. Okay.
But it's clear, the radials, they're just preferred. It's that ease of installation. Always the ease of installation.
Why is one? So this is what we're saying is, your circuit leaves the consumer unit, goes to every single socket, and stops.
Yeah.
The ring circuit does exactly the same amount of work as you've done, but comes back to the consumer unit. How hard is that?
Because that could be that additional circuit. You don't need to bring it back. And also we escape this idea of, if in the future, if we wanted, we extended off a ring final to do my daughter's room.
Brilliant, wasn't
it? It was really good to do, great product. But then there are those risks of creating rings within rings, and they're very difficult to test out if you're doing an EICR to make sure you get those ring within ring. Maybe other people have been able to find them in the comments.
How many electricians out there getting to this part of the stream have actually inadvertently wired a ring within a ring? I'll tell you now, none. Okay, so again, we can't stop other people interfering with the wiring system and causing an issue. That would happen on any circuit, including radial circuits. Yeah. So I don't think a ring within a ring argument, which in my time of wiring circuits, other than mocking them up in a college setting, I've never come across a ring within a ring. But I've taught it as an exam question. Yeah. So
did we get any comments, Joe, from the poll that we put out? Did anyone come in with any comments at all?
There you go. Then what you got
there? Zombie long winger. Rings are a waste of time, an overkill for the standard UK home. But I agree, a ring final circuit in the kitchen, radial everywhere else. See, that's interesting as well, because I wouldn't agree that you'd put the ring final, because that's where your heaviest loads are going to be. So balancing those loads out over a ring is a difficult thing to do. It's difficult to, if you were wiring a ring properly, it's very difficult.
Any more? There we go. Go on then, Joe. I can't
ring
see this
finals, one guy said you can split into 2 radials in the event of a fault. And also I believe a ring covers more square metres for a cable run. Depends on the layouts and type of load using in different cases. Uses less cable overall, probably cheaper for site work. So, well, interesting here.
Who's that? Well done.
User.
I doubt it's his own name.
Did you pick the comment?
No, I didn't pick that one, but that looks like well done, Rick.
But no, it does cover a bigger, a larger. Can you bring that?
That's quite a good one. So,
but what's interesting there is 2 radials in the event of a fault. Now, the fault you brought up on our ring final.
Your broken CPC.
Open CPC. But what would happen on an open line or an open neutral conductor on that ring final?
Yeah, what would happen? Let's think of the customer now. Just works. So all of a sudden now you haven't incurred yourself a nice giant bill. You haven't had to have that electrician back. It just works. You just carry on life as normal. There are no problems in the world. What happens when yours breaks on line or neutral?
I know exactly where the fault
No, I didn't ask you. Yeah, I'm the customer. What happens to the customer?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. There you've got to ring an electrician. They're going to come out, okay, and they're going to charge you to repair that fault.
Are we always comfortable and happy that we're going to have a fault which we don't know that's there, perhaps in a wall somewhere, or it could be a damaged cable under a floorboard? It's there, it's where we can't see it. Remember, we're protecting the cables on these installations, so it could be broken and we don't know. We would with the radial, and the customer would know and do the right thing and call out a competent electrician.
You hope.
You hope. Yes, of course you
My
hope.
circuit keeps working. Any more that it looks like an easy win today. Look, yeah, the Europeans are in. Those people on the continent, go on in. So
1 3-phase, 2 radials. I mean, yes, I would love every installation to be 3-phase personally.
yeah, and I'd just like to suggest that's got an absolute giant whiff of our most popular video ever produced on eFIXX, where Gordon went out to a property in Italy,
that's right.
and saw exactly that. 3-phase circuits, radials for everything, and a conduit system buried in the screed, which meant you can repair as you go along, okay? But we haven't got any of that in this country. That would be a lot harder task to implement that.
I think
than maybe think about, there we go, another winner for me. There we go, bomb-proof.
There we are.
So we need
a ring Now,
thanks, John.
Although I don't agree, John, with ring finals, I mean, a ring in 4mm with an AFDD.
Just works now.
Well, that's
works.
overkill. I mean, if you can afford it.
Just works. Just works well. So I think we can conclude from that, thank you very much, that yes, again, I won. It wouldn't matter which way I'd have fell on that one. I think I'd have won, so I've won. So just to re-emphasise why we'd go for the radial is because as electricians, we're not clever enough to carry out the ring final circuit test. Yeah, it would be one of them. Obviously, we'd like to use more cable by using a radial circuit. We'd like to install more overcurrent protection devices for the lack of small areas. We've got no need to do these things with a ring circuit. Let's keep our green credentials in place with a larger floor area and a test that we love doing, and it's great on a 2391.
Which lots and lots of people can and do get wrong.
Okay.
When you're testing ring final, and you talk about your green credentials, and you just think how much paper we're going to save in guidance note 3 when we don't have to have a completely separate test sequence for a ring final circuit.
Some recycled paper.
It just makes sense. We've moved on. Stop living in the past.
Talking of living in the past, let's look at some products that you've already had out.
Okay, there's
Stop arguing in there.
And I won that argument. Okay, so we've got another box of treats here. So very similar to up here. This is like the big brother now. And as I noticed looking at it, we've got white body, black ends. And we're going to see something slightly different when we've moved away for the ones for 24 amps. So if we move those out of the way, so you've got some other products for us here, Sam. What's this?
These are 2 of our existing products. These are actually the first 2 products we brought to market. We've got the 4-way splitter and the switch and load, both 16 amps. That one is basically 3 plate in a junction box.
Okay,
so
3 plate in a junction box. We'll try
Yeah.
and keep this in focus. So what I like, so power, so that's our supply line, neutral and protective conductor in. So in on my 3 plate, so turn it over. Turn it over.
And you've got
Power maybe going out to another room. Yeah, love it. So if we come back down here, we've got load. This would go to my fancy light fitting. And if we turn it over again, that's the one for my switch drop. No thinking at all. All the thinking's been done in there, hasn't it, Steve?
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Okay, we've got some test probes here, have we? These holes look familiar. We've got a little cover, but now we've got the test probes here. So switch, load, in and out for the supply. Incredibly great piece of kit.
They use the same mechanism as the other one you've seen. So once they're all connected in super fast time, you've got a tiny little thing that can go up for a small hole.
Oh yes, I think that's something we haven't mentioned here, have we? Look, this reminds me of myself. I'm quite slim, so look how slim. Early there, Steve. You laughed before you finished the word
I was thinking the switch and load.
So look how slim and slender that is. And again, think about how many connections were made there. Look at the size of the hole you've got to push that into the tin. It's really small, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is incredible considering how many connections are made in there. Maintenance free, but not waterproof. No, so if we want to put this light fitting in the water, no, it's not waterproof. You thought of that, Steve? No, it's not
take
waterproof.
it in the bath with you.
Okay, so not waterproof. Okay, brilliant. What part of the world is this one made in?
Okay.
Properly in the UK.
Properly.
Where's it say? Have you left it off? I can't see it.
No, it's not on that one yet, but it will be. Because it is properly made in the UK.
Properly made in the UK. Okay, right, so that's brilliant. What was the other one?
The other one is basically a 4-way splitter. So not as exciting, but it's a 4-way
It's your
splitter.
product, remember?
It's very exciting.
It's very exciting. Thank you very much. 60.
We see it every day, don't forget.
Incredibly exciting 4-way splitter.
So we got the way of bringing feed in, feed out, feed in, feed out, or just bringing the feed through, haven't we, effectively?
Yeah, so you can split circuits.
And again, we could use 2 or 3 of these by just, obviously when we're finished, if we wanted to, just to clear it out of the way.
Yeah, you don't need to.
You don't need to close
you
it
don't
off.
need to use them.
Yeah, but okay. Again, incredibly slender. Okay, and then this one I love.
Then this one's newer. This is the plug and socket. So on this side, you've got the usual Quickwire mechanisms, and you have a plug. So stick that on your downlighter. You've got a pluggable connection.
Okay, that makes more sense to me now. Great. So what we're coming in here is switching line, neutral and protective conductor into lighting point. Let's call it a downlight for the moment. So into downlight 1, and then off to downlight number 2, switching line, neutral and protective conductor. But to make that connection to effectively a downlight, we've got this flex here, okay, yeah, in order to make that connection. Have we got one that we can see as a practical example of maybe a downlight?
Yeah, well, we also sell downlights now. We've got an IP65 rated. Is
that waterproof?
rated. This is not.
IP65.
It's just everyone's just like, well, a connector. Isn't it?
Yeah,
this bit goes in the bathroom. Okay, and that's got that end already built onto it?
Yep, they come factory fitted with the plug on, and you get a socket in each one. So, you know, you can wire up 10 downlights in no time at all. With those first fix, come along, stick all these up there.
And again, we just saw your dad, Steve, do it. Exactly the same process, strip. Yep. Don't worry about actually opening them out, push them into the connection.
It's incredibly fast. We won't get a faster connection at a downlight than that.
No, I don't think.
I'm just going to add that the white tops actually means 1.5 or 1 mil squared cable.
Okay.
And the black means 2.5 mil.
Ah, right, okay.
Only.
So
it's not strictly speaking about current. The rating is on the product.
Okay, yeah. So where I see black now, 2.5, where I see white, 1 to 1.5. Yep. Okay, that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Okay. That's, again, you should be incredibly proud, Steve, of what you've engineered there. It's an incredible product. And anyone who hasn't used it, I think you should go out and just try them. Just even if you can, it's like one of those things, just to have that, I've used this product and how incredibly easy it is. And again, we've thought about them with those other joint boxes that you see a lot, especially on Instagram, where there's a series of cables coming in and they're having to make those connections within those boxes. They can be a little bit flexible. And again, they're normally then secured and they have sort of an odd grip sometimes to have them, which I'm not sure, depending on which way round you have it, do you always keep the IP rating? Whereas obviously with this method, once we've made those ceilings, you've got a perfectly sealed unit, haven't you? That's also maintenance free, like the ones I just described as well. So and that's when we often see in it, those style of way of connecting. And they work, okay, I've got no problem with that, but they can be a bit fiddly. Okay, and you'll appreciate this, because there's millions of electricians out there that are wiring ring final circuits and connections are not getting made. Imagine that. Imagine you had a fiddly little box. You wouldn't like a fiddly little box, would you?
Well, no, you wouldn't. I mean, you could have the same for the Radial as well, which would use less cable.
Oh, you could. No, so hang on. Less cable. So socket number one on my Radial circuit, I bring my 2.5mm square cable into it, and then I take a 2.5mm square cable out. I can't see how there's any less cable in there than my number one on my ring final circuit.
No, it's for the total circuits is what I'm referring to. The total
so it's more, yes,
which
you're
would
right.
be done quicker and even quicker with the Quickwire.
You're dead right. Yours uses way more cable, hence the ring final circuit came in, hence we're in the green economy now, and that our circuit can serve a larger flow area, a higher current rating, and use less cable. So you're dead right there, Joe. So thank you for making sure we reiterated that point as ring final circuit.
You've twisted my word, Gary.
No, I don't think I have.
Less cable
what, the two circuits?
On a ring final.
You use less cable.
No, because you're coming back, so you may as well, because you can take a ring
you've got a larger
and
floor
split a ring.
So yeah.
Don't you? You split a ring and create two radials. I mean, that was a common thing, wasn't it? Where people would get a fault in a ring final.
No, you seem to be thinking that there's trillions of ring final circuits out there littered with faults. There is not. There is not.
You think there's trillions of, with the CPC broken, at a radial with the CPC broken at the first socket?
Well, nearly everyone.
Nearly everyone. But what if we get that open line conductor on that ring final? I mean,
still works.
But it still works.
It's a great one.
It still works. But
absolutely, customers happy.
But we've still got a fault. Are you happy leaving a live cable just floating around wherever? I know I'm not.
No. Back of your radial socket circuit. That's all good. So these products here we've just seen. So people might think, hang on a minute, I can't wait until the middle of January to get hold of the ones for the socket circuit. These are website and
speak to your local wholesaler, they'll get them in, or get them from the website if you don't want to wait.
Yeah, and again, I think every electrician at some point should use these, because when I used them the first time around, it's like, wow, this is just revolution. You snatched it off me and you couldn't believe it, could you? It's the click as well, isn't it? I think
satisfying.
It's a lovely noise, that click. It's such a lovely noise.
And again, it's when you think also you can cheat it. So obviously when you do that stripping thing, if you get a bit blasé and you do a stripping, we did on one of ours, didn't we? We put it in and we both looked at each other and went, that didn't sound like the right click. And then Joe went, I was too short, and it didn't grip. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Because you're used to misconnecting on your radial socket circuits, aren't you? So when you do those right, CPCs, but especially on those ones. Okay. So again, just think about the questions that are coming in. Joe's going to have a little dive back through those as well. Think about these products here. Have you used the Quickwire solution for lighting circuits? And it's like me, are you fully in love with the one that allows us to, not the splitter one, where's the switch one? Switch and load one. The switch and load one where it just does everything, even the thinking for. You'd like this one, Joe, because it pretty much tells you, other than what the cables are, what you have to connect up. Because you come off this to a very difficult ring final circuit test and probably be.
I mean, I wouldn't want to use that for a ring final, though.
No.
Lighting, switch lighting.
No. Didn't we suggest earlier on the ring final circuit in your house that you broke into to extend? Must have been a nice moment for you to have the ability to do that. Remain at
Sometimes we have to sell our soul, don't we?
How many electricians at home? That'd be a nice one for the community. How many electricians at home have actually maybe rewired their own property, or they've moved into a property where all the socket circuits are radials? Now, when we're talking about that, we'll have to go over to Joe, because I think we've had a super chat in and he wants to ask a question. So if we go back over to Joe, unfortunately Joe has to move across to get his mic live, so once he's back in, go on then, Joe.
It was a bit of a while ago, that guy. I'll have to scroll up the chat. So just keep talking for a second and I'll get back to you on that.
I think it was about my air fryer, wasn't it?
Found it. So the question was from Sockets, Richard Bucket Sockets. The question was, is Gary's air fryer wired on its own dedicated radio? Gary?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Absolutely great.
Directly from the inverter, perhaps, and with all your battery storage coming in.
It's a really, really good point, that is. And thank you very much for the super chat. So next thing in the section that we're going to cover next is about locations. I got away with that one. No one noticed.
Moving on.
That's good. That is a good question. So if you think of those air fryers, when you're putting a huge amount of load now onto your radial or ring circuit, okay, it just works a treat. It's so much quicker than the oven. The food's considerably more crispy. Okay, so you can have crispy bacon in there.
Are we still talking about the radial?
Oh, bacon.
Air fryer.
Sorry, I thought we were
absolutely brilliant.
You're talking about your radial.
Now, it comes to pass that somebody has suggested in the past that we've got the Judith Chalmers of the electrical industry in Gordon Routledge, okay, that is always somewhere on a luxurious holiday under the nod of the eFIXX expense budget.
Yep.
But you've got a small confession to make to me, Joe, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been on my travels. I've been out and about and away. Gordon let me go,
which is nipping me right off.
Really exciting.
Okay, shall we see where you've been gallivanting about to recently?
Good morning. So today I'm going to see Marcus and Jess, husband and wife team from Total Electrical Services here in Lincoln, and they've invited me to go on a swimming pool installation in New York. Couldn't believe it, honestly. I mean, I've only been working at eFIXX for how long, and I'm going off to New York. So my bag's packed, I've got my passport, and I just can't wait to go. So it's already quite a niche market, but these guys, husband and wife team, have moved into it and are doing really, really well. What's interesting as well with this particular installation is it's got air source heating, which I've not really seen on swimming pool installations. I'm also keen to find out what Marcus and Jessica's views are on ring or radial circuits. Hopefully they'll be camp radial. Let's see if I can pull in somewhere to get a cup of tea and the sausage cob. I can't believe I'm going to New York. Best day ever. Hey Gordon, is this postcode you've given me right? Literally in the middle of nowhere. This is not the New York I was thinking of. Hey Gordon, yeah, I get it. Yeah, very, very funny. I promised my wife a bracelet from Tiffany's. Will you stop laughing? Okay, so I'm here in New York, Lincolnshire, but let's go and drop in with Jess and Marcus on this swimming pool. So I've done a few swimming pools in my time, but I could not believe how straightforward this one was. Today was day one, so Marcus and Jess were getting the cable fed in that was going to supply the sub main, and yes, it came from our friends at Doncaster Cables. Jess sent Marcus up into the attic to feed the cable through, but that was no bad thing because this attic was huge. Look at all this space up there. Marcus fed it in and it was quite an easy and straightforward run. And there really isn't a lot of stuff in the plant room. You've got a filter, chlorine sump, a UV filter and the pump. And that is it. All of that as well tying in with the air source pump. So let's get a little bit more info off Marcus as to what this install actually entails.
Brand new install. Got a sub main coming from the main board coming into the garage. And then from there we've got our circuits for a circulation pump, worked through a UV. So they work in tandem with each other through a flow switch. And then we've also got an air source heat pump, which has a override for the timer, which we're also integrating onto the pool pump, just for efficiency. And we've also got some underwater LED lighting as well.
Regarding zoning and stuff like that, what have you kind of had to look into?
Not a relatively big pool. It's quite close to the edges of the boundary of the building. The air source heat pump is well outside the zone, obviously 2 meters to work with, but everything's coming off the RCBOs and the infused board. So we've got our additional protection, and anything that we do have within the actual confines of the pool is our 12-volt underwater lights.
Is air source on a swimming pool, is that an unusual?
On most of the swimming pools that we do, that's what they have. There might be the odd occasion where they don't want the expense of an air source heat pump, so they'll probably use the gas supply, or they might have an oil boiler, which might be dedicated for the pool. So it's all dependent on the customer's requirements on how they want to do it.
What's it like working with your wife?
It's amazing. Without all joking apart, Jess is fantastic. She's overcome a lot of challenges with the family. We've got 3 boys. So to be able to juggle the fact of raising the kids, go to college through COVID, that was the time when she was with yourself, and obviously carry on with the college. And she's aced everything. She's brilliant. She's fun to work with, and she's good at her job.
Who's the better electrician?
Jessica.
Before I left, I got Jess and Marcus to record their answers to the ring or radial question.
Ring or radial?
Radial. They're just easier to install, less messing about with testing, and easier to fault find. And there's a lot less that can go wrong with a radial than a ring.
Ring or radial?
Radials every time. Quicker to test, quicker to install, and just a lot easier to break down more circuits for radials.
They were doing so well right up until that last section there, but
come on.
did anyone also spot that pool water looked horrific?
It did look.
It looked horrific. I don't know about cold, but horrific. I wouldn't be in there at any point in that show. Now, here's one for you. So again, to get into the comments, I always do the absolute classic when I meet somebody for the first time or around that holiday season. I always say to someone, they say to me, "Where are you going on holiday, Gary?" And this was true pretty much for 18 years on the trot. I say, "I'm going California." And I'd leave a small pause there, long enough just to allow them, for the first time probably in life with me, to jump into the conversation. And when they jump into the conversation, they then flourish you out with, "Oh, how amazing," and this, that, and the other. I let them go for a little bit before I finish the sentence that they interrupted and say, "California cliffs, Great Yarmouth." And then you watch them just fold back into themselves. And my wife would always smile and say, "That's another person you've got on that absolute classic." So is there anywhere in the UK that you've been to that may have a name that suggests it's somewhere else in the world? Maybe New York, maybe California. Please leave them in the comments. I'll be interested to see where in the world it is. Maybe you found somewhere fantastic in Sunderland. I doubt you have, but maybe you have, that suggests it's somewhere else in the world. So yeah, it's good. So you weren't quite the Judith Chalmers this time. It's leaving it still down to Gordon.
Yeah, he's still our epic traveller, isn't he, abroad into those sunnier climates.
Absolutely. They mentioned steel wire armoured cable there they pulled in. Now, we've got Innovation Corner, and we've got a brand new product again that we were allowed to launch. I think the name's a bit susceptible to maybe a copyright claim in the future, but let's see what happened in Innovation Corner this week.
Welcome to Innovation Corner, the segment of the show where we explore the latest products in the electrical industry, including some hidden gems you may have overlooked. This week, we are exploring a great product for earthing SWA cable glands. It's the eFIXX from Specialised Wiring Accessories, or as they've called it, eFIXX. Made of solid brass and vibration resistant, it is a great solution for all applications. Let's see how it works. Just released in time for Christmas, so if you want to make your apprentice's eyes light up when they gaze below the tree, here's the perfect opportunity. A one-piece component, this will change the way you earth your cable glands. No longer needing a lock nut and banjo, this clever product combines both into one. Controversially, we left the plate in place whilst drilling out a 32mm hole. This led to some interesting comments. Would you have removed it for drilling? Toilet paper is in short supply here at eFIXX, especially the day after Vic's trip to Mastabs, so we could only spare one sheet. You bring the gland body onto the eFIXX, then tighten the gland up. Note, no grips are required for the eFIXX itself, as the serrated edge bites into enclosures, so the gland can be tightened from the outside. The serrated edge easily scrapes off any paint, creating a voltage equalizing connection and easily maintaining EMI shielding. We used an IP68 rated SWA storm gland, and because we didn't need to drill holes for earth bolts, the enclosure's IP rating is retained. The one-piece design with a threaded hole helps speed up the installation time when connecting your earth fly lead. We think this is a great innovation from SWA. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll leave a link to the product so you can give it a try on your next project.
You wouldn't believe that Joe isn't the top electrician that obviously he gives there. Another superb Innovation Corner with somebody who spent half a day researching those and putting those words together, and I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah,
and you must appreciate little bits like that being with your engineering background, and they've solved that problem. Do you understand what a lock nut and a banjo looks like?
I do.
Yeah, and they're both gone. No grips needed, and I think you know, to get that across there in that short video, I think a lot of people saw that and it's had a lot of views, but I don't know whether they focused in on the fact that you didn't have to do anything with what is the lock nut stroke banjo in the eFIXX, or as they like to call it, eFIXX.
Yeah.
Would you have some issues with that, maybe?
I think I might. Yeah, I think there might be some.
I found it incredible. You know, it's just that that people could tongue in cheek almost like, well, we'll just throw an eFIXX in there and see if it sticks.
Work that into some of our stuff.
Perhaps, perhaps you could. Yeah, perhaps you could. So that's good. Yeah, we like it. But again, thank you ever so much for Joe for doing Innovation Corner for us as we highlight another one of those wonderful products, which I think, again, we've highlighted today a fantastic product that you've added to your range, okay, in order to solve a problem that isn't there on ring final circuits, which is just doing a nice extension of a ring final circuit, adding sockets maybe to your daughter's bedroom. Yeah, effortlessly. I think he fell in love with those connectors. He's got them under his floorboard. Okay, you're not laying awake worrying about your poorly terminated connections in your ring final circuit test, are you?
No, all my radials either.
No.
Go to the kitchen.
Yeah. You haven't got any radials in that kitchen. You don't have a radial in that kitchen. Yeah. And anyone wants to watch the video where he's consuming, it's too close to the gas pipe that he installed as well, so he wasn't bothered about that either.
Oh no, it's okay. We've got a non-combustible barrier. You know, there now. So we've got no issues.
Was it an asbestos block? I've drilled into the wall. Watch me do it.
No issues whatsoever. Yes.
Do you want to delve back into the questions for us? See where the consensus has fallen on the ring final circuit side?
Well, we are getting these in now for the names. So a lot in Lincolnshire.
What else have we got in Lincolnshire?
We've got South Holland in Lincolnshire, and that is right. That's kind of a district actually. But yeah, South Holland. We've got Boston. Of course.
Yeah.
Boston. You know, that's where. Well, Boston is Boston. That's where a lot of the pilgrims. I'm not going to go into a history lesson here with that,
Please don't.
Gary. But a lot of the pilgrims went from there. Wetwang.
Oh yeah, of course.
Now I've heard of Wetwang. I'd love to know whereabouts in the country.
For the algorithm, be careful. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any others on here? Some great comments that are coming on with this Earth Ring. Great comment. Earth Ring. It should be a radial. You're right.
Earth Ring. It should be a radial. Okay. So yeah.
But no, it's a great comment coming in on that it's a great product here. Phase 3142, another great product. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and again, we'll say Cam at the end of the year. We've had a fantastic. This is not closing words. People think these are closing words. We've had a fantastic year doing these live streams. I think we've brought you probably 24 or 25 of these across the entire year. And it's an absolute privilege, and you've given us the same at Quickwire, to launch a new product into our electrical industry and put it in our hands. So we'd like to thank you and people like SWA for allowing us to have early access to this stuff, put it through its paces, and hopefully show our electrical community that there are wonderful things out there that save your time, are designed and engineered brilliantly. Some of them are even made in the UK, which is brilliant, as well, in order to make our lives easier. So again, thank you ever so much for those. We did promise you that if you stayed on that we'd get a chance to see how Lauren Bailey got on when she did the race wall. Okay, so let's go over to Lauren Bailey from 2 weeks ago and see how she got on. Oh, got to commentate. Sorry, I was going to do. I was just about to chat to you lot and say, oh yes, here comes Lauren. So Lauren was brilliant. I spent a good 25 minutes interviewing Lauren, and we'll talk about that maybe at the end and when you can see that video. You might be saying to yourself, maybe a little bit sceptically, look at how wonderfully painted her nails, and they are wonderfully painted because she was at the ECN Awards evening that I also attended the following evening. So she was getting ready for that. So don't suggest anything about her based on those nails. They're not chipped, etc. No, they're not, because she's going to a wonderful dinner and dance the second day, and it was great to catch up with her there as well. She thoroughly enjoyed the challenge offered by the radial circuit, and she said it was a little bit beneath her. She felt that she was certainly up for installing a ring final circuit, felt she had the skills to install a ring final circuit and test them. And she said some people would suggest, because they were in single insulated cables, that it would confuse some people on legs of ring final circuits, of which she just sort of pahooed it to say as if.
I mean, we'd hate for them to not be marked up, so we don't know what our ins and outs are for the ease of testing a ring. Or is it easier to test a radial circuit?
Well, let's make life completely easy. Maybe even plumbers can convert themselves to be electricians in a 2-week course. Okay, this looks great, by the way. So stripping the cables off, old school, absolutely love it. In with a pair of side guys. This is how we do it. Bang, bang, bang. So this looks a proficient way of doing it. No smiling though, is there? Come on, Lauren, you got a lovely smile. You could have done this. Okay, so Lauren Bailey's trying to be Oh, no. Oh, she's only gone and done it. She's only gone and done it. Okay, we've had a bit of a rainbow moment now. We calling that a half rainbow, a full rainbow? I don't quite know, but we've had a little bit of a... That's a launched rainbow. That is still rainbowing. Look at that. Okay, so we're down. It'd be interesting to see which way Lauren takes this one on. Okay, is she going to be... Oh, extra conductor. So we didn't do this today, did we? Extra conductor. Ping these off. Is there a groove in those? Whatever it is, that is a very proficient way of using those Knipex side cutters. Brilliant. So we're down now in order to make our final connections. This looks good. This looks good. So, earth in the back box of our radial socket circuit. Loads of arguments. Do we need to do it? Well, it's made of conduit, so do we need to bother doing it? Will the conductors accidentally drop out the back of the box because they've been poorly installed by somebody that may burn the house down in the future? All arguments we've heard this evening on the ring final circuit. None of them have stuck, I would suggest. Looks like Lauren knows her way around those side cutters and a screwdriver. I think if it was a ring final circuit, we could rest assured it would live the life of the installation, not cause the building to perish in the event of the neutral becoming disconnected. Because remember, all the sockets still work and everybody in the house is happy. So that's a good bonus. If you'd had a radial circuit, you will be scrambling around for somebody to come and fix it. Okay, here we go. So we're just the 2 screws away from completing. Unlike today's guest, she left them on top of the socket where they're clearly easily to find.
Like it makes sense. Why would you put silver screws on a silver floor?
Yes, absolutely. So we can see them. There's Rick. He's still with us. I wonder what catering course he did last week. Okay, so here we go. 2 screws away. That is brilliant. Fantastic. So.
Well, we didn't ask for times to come in.
We didn't for that one. Yep.
Yeah, Darren's come in with a...
Oh, somebody had a go, did they?
Time. Yeah, no, thank you, Darren. Yes, thank you, Rick. While we're getting that ready, if anyone wants to quickly throw in a time what they think...
There's no second prize. We're struggling to send them out anyhow. But however, we have solved that problem because we've taken Joe off the post. So you notice you have to ring Jenny. So if Jenny doesn't send it out, it'll be Jenny's fault. Do you know what's going out tonight, Jenny? Do you know what you're sending out?
Yeah.
Yes, she doesn't. She hasn't got absolutely not a Scooby what's going out. So we're up here. So I'm going to take Lauren Bailey's time off the board, okay, and I'm going to now look and see where it gets. Now, it looked pretty quick, Sam. Now, you lived a charmed life today on the race wall, didn't you? So we had 2 horrendous runs and then 1 fluky one that beat Dad.
Well,
so do you think
one way to look at
apprentice Lauren Bailey has done it quicker than yourself?
Probably.
Yeah, you'd probably say she's gone quicker? Yeah, okay. But she's learning her craft. She cared about the termination she made. She did. You just didn't care at all, did you? There was so much copper showing. There was a copper shortage. We could have used the bits that you left hanging out the breakers.
To be fair, you said copper could show. That was fine.
You did.
I did what you said.
Okay, so apprentice Lauren Bailey, okay, did this in 6 minutes and 30. Okay, so she is on this board, but Rick will be pleased because I'm just going to move Rick up slightly. This is not the bottom time, so don't panic. This is the bottom time on this board. This is an outstanding time in the 6 minutes 30 because when we look up and go over to the board over here, we can see our times go all the way up to the top of that board is where you don't want to be, which is Carl Dakin at 9 minutes and 54. So there is plenty of people there under Lauren's time. That is absolutely brilliant. It's going into the nightclub, is it? Oh, not me going to the nightclub.
Well, no, well done, Lauren.
Yeah,
that was
really good.
That was
really
an
good.
excellent time, real good time.
Yep, so that's an outstanding time. So we got that one and we've locked and loaded that one as well. So brilliant. So that sort of brings the race wars for 2023 to a close. I think you were robbed, Dad. Okay, absolutely. Yeah, you were really.
Unlucky.
Yeah, you were because yeah, that last one, that one, you got a charmed life. I didn't think you had it. After that first one where you connected the socket twice and then to come back with an outstanding time like you did.
You can only get better from that.
Well, you can. That beats the engineer, which is a worrying time. So that concludes really what we've done in 2023. We'd like to thank Sam. I'd like to thank Steve. You've been brilliant today. Steve, you've taken a little bit on the chin today, haven't you, as well?
Just a touch.
Tolerated me
Just
for
a touch.
long periods of time.
Yeah.
We probably won't do this again, will we?
It would have to be a bloody good idea I have next time to be.
You won't be. You'll say, I'm not inventing another thing because I have to go and sit there for 2 hours. That'll be it.
Yeah.
Sam, been brilliant. Thank you ever so much. It's been a long time. We've spoke many times over the years on the phone, so it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure to spend today with you. And co-presenter. It didn't feel like co-presenter today. It felt great. Just super natural.
I've really enjoyed it, yeah. And I'm really glad that, say, the community out there who have really enjoyed it as well. And, yeah, all love your product. I mean, the comments on your product is absolutely amazing. And, you know, as the polls say, it's radials all the way, Gary.
It so isn't though, is it?
You just got to get the last word in.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's get up tomorrow and take a dose of reality when we're installing that ring final circuit, and then we're asked the question, yeah, I'm a radial person as they're installing a ring final circuit. It's a bit like when you're asked who you vote for, isn't it? You always tend to say something slightly different. We couldn't bring this live stream with you fortnightly for an entire year without the support of some great people. We'd like to thank the people who are our headline sponsors, the Lasico Group, who bring us products such as Sync EV and people like what's their lighting brand? Oh, Lasico Lighting, they bring us that. And also their wonderful consumer units and overcurrent protection device as well. We'd like to thank the great people at Ludum Palazzoli down there in the Italy of Essex for supporting this live stream and giving us our consumer unit on our race wall and some many amazing products that we've managed to review and do CPDs. And we've got a CPD from Ludum coming out very shortly that dives into one of those questions that people have been asking for a long time. So make sure you check that out in the coming weeks. We'd also like to thank Doncaster Cables to bring us things like EV Ultra and PV Ultra. And I was the first person in the UK to use PV Ultra. So that was quite a proud moment for me as well. We'd like to thank you, Sam. We'd like to thank Steve for coming along. Okay. You're staying over because it's a 4.5 hour journey. You're going back tonight, aren't you?
I am, yes. Nativities to go and watch tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the joy of kids.
Yes, there is no joy of kids, is there, Sam? Would you like to? Shall we go for another hour?
Shall we go? Shall we go?
Why not? Yeah, could we?
Would you mind? In the morning, you know, and in the evening.
So when the kids, your two may have get the chance maybe tomorrow to watch. Are you granddad? Are you pops?
I'm granddad. Yeah, I'm granddad.
Yeah, watch granddad and dad on the telly. So that'll be all
good. I'm not going to watch it.
No, we will be
bad enough being in it
in 2023, but we're going to do the register first. So we're over to see. Joe, can you do the register for us for the last time this year?
Thought you were going to forget there, Gary.
No,
we have got the register. Now, bear with me, there's a lot of people on tonight. I think we hit like 200 people at one point. Let's get straight into it. So first, I had to put him first because otherwise he'd be speaking to me about it tomorrow. We've got Richard Gaunt. Next up, we've got Riley Jarvis. Then we've got Sean Dempsey. We've got Test Gear Junkie. We've got Socket, Retro Z Machine, Talha Qureshi, Princess Spark, Tom Bickerton, Marcus Stonham, Ollie, Darren Cranis, Tim McLaughlin, Shauna Spark, Smart Spark UK, Intrude Serve, Azuri Electrical, Toolbox Talk for Electricians, Elliot Veers, Oriel Zobe, Ren Skylark, Red Snare, Paul Cross, McGreedy, Chris Oswin, Gold Dominic 893, Richard Walsh, Lucas Makowski, Pompey, Richard Bushnell, just take a quick breath, Sergio Fernandez, Stephen Skillen, The Aviation 101, Electricery, Daddy B, Short Circuit, Kyle Rigg, Roger Brookfield, Rob Nicholson, Duckman, Gadgetman, Sam Davies and Griff Thomas. And just before I hand back to you, Gary, I know there's probably a lot of people who want to see this again, so let's watch this.
I don't even remember doing it.
We could run some of this, but if you do want to get a copy of this, Studios, I'm sure we can do something.
No, it was, I mean, it's the recovery time. I mean, that was awful, absolutely awful. So we'd like to thank everybody that's helped support these live streams, including our staff. So we'd like to thank the people that have helped make this. So the three Joes, nice and easy. Joe 2.0, Joe 3.0. We'd like to thank Gordon for his great support. Steve back at home, and we'd like to thank also who's trying to sneak off Jenny. And there we see the crew that puts this together every single fortnight, and there we are looking absolutely AI'd up to the absolute brim, I would suggest. They're the only one, try and spot Gordon in there. That is sort of a cross between Gordon and Steve. I think we've AI'd them together. There's a little bit of cheeky hip action there from 3PO. Okay, look at Mr. Gaunt there in the background. Does he not rock a Western scene? And Jen's looking absolutely marvellous as well. There he is. Look at it. It's a rough and tough. Yes, he is one handsome chap. There he is. Handful of nuts.
Nut
yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we thank you. Without this, we couldn't do this fortnightly on Facebook and on YouTube. And we thank you ever so much for all those people who tuned in. I know some people have said to us, and we'll probably modify it in the new year, I've looked at your live stream the following day or 48 hours later and gone, I don't know if I've got 2 hours of my life to get into that. Remember, there's timestamps, so you can jump through the different sections you'll go. And we'll probably mix it up in 2024 as we always do. But you might be lucky enough to find yourself get another mention as we roll the end credits. Thank you ever so much, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you ever so much, Sam. Quickwire are amazing, and so are you for watching us this year. We'll see you in 2024.